I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Vinland Saga, Season 1, Episode 9. Last episode, we were finally given another rematch in between Thorfinn and Askeladd, and it was amazing, and it was great, and it was a great establishing, power ranking, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, we know that Thorfinn isn't up there with Askeladd, but he's come a far way from when we first met him.
And it also really pointed out to the viewer certain characters that are in the cast that are either looking at Thorfinn a little bit closer or have the potential to look at him a little bit closer.
Yeah, definitely. We were also introduced to Gorm, Uncle Gorm, right? And
he likes money.
He does like money. And we don't really think he likes Hordaland a whole lot. He's pretty disappointed with Hordaland. And Askeladd has feelings about that, you know.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know. Askeladd's definitely one of the most, if not the most interesting or compelling characters to me at the moment in the series.
So compelling. He has his own fan club. How could you not join it now that you know that?
And he brings necklaces for them all.
He's gonna bring you jewelry? Like, nice.
And then we had a great conversation between Thorfinn and Hordaland where he passed on some wisdom that was passed on to him from Thor's, which was great. And we ended the episode with Thorkel, which was reintroduction, because we got a little bit of him in episode 1, and we saw him swing an axe, and it swung very far and threw a lot.
He threw a lot.
Yeah.
It's very big.
Yeah. I want to see more. Give me more.
I think we're going to see more violence in this next episode. I would believe in the ending of last episode, how it felt. Either we're going to be setting off and saying goodbye.
More Canute.
More Canute.
However that is supposed to be pronounced, but...
Because we're probably wrong.
Ready?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. We're here. There's Bjorn.
It looked like Bjorn, but was that not him?
You know what? I don't think it was
Bjorn.
Bjorn. Like yeah.
Yeah,
that's Bjorn.
That's him.
Discount Bjorn.
Trouble for you guys?
Bjorn's only along for the easy wins. Oh, shit.
In bed with the enemy.
All right. Is there anything that Thorkel can distinguish Thorfinn by and his relation to Thor's?
Dagger.
Dagger, right? That's where my head's at. Ugh. This music.
To stand out. It's not really a plan.
Another rematch, maybe? Jesus.
So tall, head in the clouds.
If you can reach it.
Is it bad that I got that feeling for that last couple seconds that it was like mom and dad telling their kid to come down from their bedroom for dinner?
So I'm really interested right now. It's not going at all the way that I thought it would. One, Thorkel being on the other side.
That was a surprise.
This being like the next step seems... We're like... Us as Thorfinn are being continuously thrown in a deeper end. Like, first, okay, we're thrown into the deep end right off the bat. We somehow survived. We just got out of the water. And now Askeladd is putting us free-floating under the Marianas Trench or above it. It's like...
And giving a giant task on this, like, battlefield that all of the warriors want to, like, you know, stand out on. But also this dynamic and relationship that we're gonna get with Thorkel goes completely against what I would have expected. Like when we meet with like Floki the first time, I figured that any friend of Thor's that fought with him in that original battle in episode 1 would be upset, think of him as traitorous for leaving, feel betrayed. But now we have this idea that this person is even sided with the enemy, therefore a traitor betrayer.
I'm very interested to see if there's going to be any interaction regarding Thor's, you know, between the two. A sea deer.
So if he takes the money, do we not go after his head?
Not so sure about that. Oh my god! I love him. Any offer monetarily? He's cracked. I love him.
Oh, so he's just a wild man. He's like completely in it for the fun of the fight.
It's interesting that Askeladd even knew he's gonna deny it.
And Floki really wants him to...
He names his attacks. Why do I feel like he's going to love Thorfinn?
I know, right? I feel that too.
Oh, what a good line.
Battles he's going to win. Look at how big he is in comparison.
Oh, good shot.
That arrow transition.
Okay.
I get why having the shield on the back.
I love these arrow shots.
This is gonna be graphic. I don't want to see it. Oh my god, I really don't.
Oh, shit!
That was your special? He's naming them on the fly.
The name says it all.
He's on the map. Stop.
What the fuck? Oh my god! Woo! The animation!
You can feel the weight of it.
The wind. Oh! For a kid. Oh, I'm so excited. The animation went to like 11.
Are they sneaking up behind him?
Right channel. Oh!
He doesn't even like feel the pain.
Of course he doesn't. It's all adrenaline. Oh! Oh, what a shot! Did you see, like, the focus pull with that?
Are up high. Are we going?
Oh!
Oh!
Dude, that's almost like what Askeladd did to Thor's with the thing flying over and he went under. Oh! Oh! Oh!
It's like he's a giant.
Blocked it with his own hand.
We still...
Oh!
Are they gonna do anything about this?
The dagger. Oh. Oh. Recognized.
Name, you. This is the moment.
I have chills. Oh.
The details of broken nails,
It's
too.
so
like,
nice. Like how chipped
so
they are.
chipped.
Oh.
Especially because he fights with his hands,
Mhm.
too. Need to wear it down.
Dude, I don't know how to feel about Canute.
I know.
Because part of me like has this like terrifying presence from Canute, but like we're being told the exact opposite.
Ooh!
I know how that feels. Okay, that was Vinland Saga, Season 1, Episode 9. What an episode, man.
Thorkel is so entertaining. I thought Askeladd was entertaining, but Thorkel is incredibly entertaining.
You know what, though? Like, this, I think that in the midst of, like, fun animation and fight sequences in an anime, I think in the moment, I get lost and forget how complex this is. Because, like, that ending there with Thorfinn walking with his head down, like, you realize that this isn't just, like, it's... So, my head is immediately going to Dragon Ball Z, and, like, obviously you haven't seen it, but this isn't Dragon Ball Z. This is, Thorfinn seems to be propelled by pain in terms of his fighting and mission, and of course that makes sense, and of course that's been what we're told. He's trying to avenge his father by carving out Askeladd's heart and giving it to the spirit of his father. But in all seriousness, what that does to a person over a period of time is extremely real, and I worry for Thorfinn, and I don't know what I don't know what's in store for his character going forward, because when you're being propelled by this pain and you're motivated by what Thorfinn is, sure, he is gaining strength and he is getting stronger and taking on stronger opponents, but at the end of the day, you're losing on the ability to build your character outside of war. When he finally avenges his dad and defeats Askeladd, I imagine his mission is done. His fight is over. And then where do you begin? Do you return home?
Mm-hmm.
What have you gone through? What do you have to what do you have to do to mend the pieces of you that might be broken and lost because of everything you've gone through 3 years? I think I don't take it as seriously as I should at some points.
When we see revenge stories or stories of vengeance being the primary fuel and goal and reason for living and continuing on, the driving force for characters, normally you get, kind of two things with that. You get they achieve that in some way that ends up actually not feeling as fulfilling as they thought it would feel.
Yeah.
Or not feeling as satisfying as they might have thought it would have felt. And you also bring up a good point of like, who are you after all of that? Like you are not the same person, and you went through all of this, drastically changed you. You went through all of this hardship. What are you actually left with? Could you even return once the battle is done, once the revenge is gotten and you return home? You're a completely different person. Can you even return to the life that you had previously left at such a young age?
I worry no, because while you've spent years grueling in pain, physically and emotionally, and trying to succeed with your mission, those years are being spent by the people that you knew as family, developing in much different ways.
And changing themselves.
And when you have the branch that you do, that division there, and you're going further and further down that path and diverging more and more, once you try to reconnect that path, how easy will it become? How many nights will Thorfinn not be able to sleep in the safety of his own home because he's used to the grueling reality that this war is?
And being so constantly on edge. But the other option for a revenge story, from just like being informed by other things that I've seen and what they end up doing with characters that are so heavily motivated by a revenge story, the other option, other than getting that revenge and then almost feeling like an empty shell of a person afterward, or it not being all it was, all they thought it would be in the end, all they hoped it would be. The other option is that somewhere along the line, they themselves, there's some awakening moment where either they realize that that's not exactly what they should be trying to do or looking for. Maybe it's a person they meet that opens their mind to something else. Maybe they realize that the person that they wanted to enact revenge on doesn't actually, like, that won't make them feel better. They realize it before acting that won't make them feel better. There is a lot of places you could go with that whole idea of stopping beforehand, before actually enacting revenge, that either the person decides on their own that it is not what they want to do, or they have some influencing power, like another character or an event that shapes them. They realize a true goal, a true path that they want to go down, who they actually want to be beforehand.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Again. One of the most compelling aspects of the show to me is Askeladd, because while there isn't much being said and many actions being provided, you have to wonder, regardless of what that motive is, what Thorfinn is gaining from it. Everything that I just said, for all the pain that Thorfinn is enduring and going to have to continue to, is very real and tangible, and it's there. On the same side of that coin, though, what he's gaining from it is what I believe contributed to the peaceful-ish society that Thorfinn was able to grow up around. Regardless of how much disdain and how unenjoyable battle is, which again, I want to just put a little sidebar here. Compare this last scene with Thorfinn saying what's so enjoyable about battle to him looking for a knife in his father's chest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, holy shit.
I already wrote out a little page about wanting to talk about that sort of idea.
But what is happening as well that's growing alongside this pain is that ability to protect and defend loved ones and yourself if the time comes. You're gaining that ability that you wouldn't have by not going through this. And it's like, and sure, that can be considered a positive, but there's still a lot of pain that he's like, that isn't physical, that he's going through right now.
Right. Like the positive, I guess you could say, that we're possibly seeing slowly happening with Thorfinn is a development of his own subjective opinion about killing and battle and what it is to be a warrior and that sort of thing. Like those words that his father told him, that was his father's opinion. He had differing opinions as a kid. They had conversations about it. And now Thorfinn's opinions on it are definitely morphing into this kind of combination of taking some things from his dad, but also maybe like hasn't fully adopted all of those lessons or feelings that his dad had about battle. But it's really interesting because we're seeing him kind of slowly, through experiencing what he thought when he was a child would be awesome and great, kind of that Ari energy of like, yeah, I can't wait to go into battle. And he's realizing for himself in an unbiased way what it actually means to take someone's life, to hurt them, to fight for your own life, and to be in battle. And so that is like a good segue into a compliment that I wanted to pay to character writing for Vinland. But if you wanted to say anything in attachment to what I just said.
Not an attachment.
Now is the floor.
After.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm really, really happy that the character writing of we're in a story that's just primarily focused on Vikings, warriors, and battle and fighting. And so with that, you'd be worried that there would be two sides of the coin. People that wish they didn't have to do it, and people that want to do it for the warrior status, Valhalla, whatever reason that they want to fight. Riches,
fun.
That there just be two sides. And it seems like I don't remember what the name of the charts are, but the circle graphs where it's like a circle, and there's that middle part where they're connected and overlapping. I feel like that exists with a lot of our main character, like our main warrior, older characters to look up to in this show, and especially in this episode. Like we have Thorkel, who likes to fight and wants to fight a hard fight, and then in the same episode we get lines from Bjorn that's like he likes to fight and kill, but he only wants to do the ones where he thinks he's gonna win. And so that's an interesting overlap, but also difference with them. And then we have Thors and Askeladd that are kind of in their own overlappy graph, possibly. Thorfinn is somewhere in his own bubble. There's just across the board with all of these warriors, there's some that show the perspective of naive and spoiled and don't really truly know like the horrors of the pain that you might feel when you fight, to the ones who know that that's going to be a risk but still are choosing to do it in order to achieve something and stand out. So just really nice, kind of everyone is slightly different from the other. Like there might be overlaps like money, financial, getting paid, having fun, liking to fight. Like,
what's a really good overlap though in between these characters of at least Thorkel, Bjorn, and Askeladd? They're all alive. It like legitimately. There are so many different ways that they are alive. there are much few differences in between Bjorn and Askeladd than Thorkel, because Askeladd and Bjorn, they have different motives seemingly, right? A little bit, like you just referenced Bjorn's like wanting to win and kill, but not wanting to do it unless it seemingly is probably odds are in his favor. But I think in a very similar vein, Askeladd has the same approach. He's very calculated, right?
He'll retreat
with the fights
if he
that
doesn't
he
think
takes.
he's going to win.
He wants to survive. He has that longevity within him. Whereas Thorkel is also alive, but he's driven by this like borderline insanity of just like
there's not a
wanting
self-preservation
fun. Yeah. And what we talked about earlier about like reading Thorfinn's line here of what's so enjoyable about battle. What I said was my feelings about it going forward, about him feeling like he doesn't enjoy battle. But you have to acknowledge that narratively there does lie that possibility of him referencing Thorkel's "that was fun" and then "let's do this again" as then calls him a madman. He could be bringing this up as a narrative in that maybe there could be some discovery of fun or enjoyment in battle. I don't know if that's the way that it could go, but it could.
And I really liked where we were going with like that some of these characters have a self-preservation aspect to their choices. And so that is why one of the reasons that Askeladd and Bjorn use the fact that Thorfinn does not have that. Thorfinn has a goal so like Thorkel in some way. They have something they want so bad, whether for Thorkel it's just to enjoy the fight, and for Thorfinn it's to be able to have a chance to fight Askeladd, that they will, as Thorkel said, the suicide attacker, go into a battle even though the odds are not in their favor and risk in order to fight.
I loved, like, from just my anime like watching experience, like Thorkel like fits that hole in my heart of just like, oh yeah, he took the side with the more money, but then it's like, why wouldn't he take the double the money? And Askeladd's like, he's not gonna take it, and the reason is because of his like, the odds are against him now. This fight is going to be more fun. I fucking love that.
He obviously is a restless soul.
Yeah.
Who could never just go home and sit on his butt and have nothing to do. He is like, he probably is someone who came into his own on the battlefield, and that is where he felt the most alive. And he could totally be addicted to like a thrill or adrenaline rush of like being in a fight, especially a hard one. So he could never just go home to his little village with his wife and his kids,
or his,
like Thor's did.
Or like Askeladd did with his fan club. There were so many great moments of animation this episode, or like just, you know, like just like creative shot choices. Like I loved like a lot of the like the direction behind the us following the arrows in, right, and the movement behind it. It was so fluid and it was so enjoyable. And there were a couple, I think 3 moments that I really wanted to point out in during the fight sequence. The first one is before the mid-roll, when we get Thorkel swinging his big log before he drops it. You hear the sound design, and like you feel how heavy it is. It's so cool. So that's definitely number 1.
That whole like tactile experience almost of like, you're watching something that's animated, even in like sound design for something that's live action, like details that actually make you feel like there's actually a weight to that. I mean, for live action, that would be helps with acting or sound design. That if it actually feels like they're holding something that's heavy and it is weighted, and their arm actually, really has to push through the air to swing it. Like all of that just makes a much more dynamic and believable fight.
My number 2 is like the storyboarding in this episode goes fucking crazy. And this was so cool. Backing away from Thorkel, Thorfinn is like hopping back, and then the camera goes like a little fisheye, and we're like we're moving a little bit because the knife's coming closer to us, like the point, and then the focus changes a bit, and we're seeing more of like a blurred knife, and then Thorkel in full vision, but then Thorfinn's all like blurry now too. It's so fucking cool. Like I can imagine being behind the camera and purposefully focusing on Thorkel here. It's so creative. I can imagine this from a manga. You know what I mean? So fucking cool.
Also incredibly love for a show that doesn't have unrealistic fighters in terms of like, oh, Thorkel can magically heal, that was a thing. Like, it's not. He got his fingers cut off. They didn't just grow back. There's no like magic in this. But there is this play on just a very big, muscular man, and he just happens to be very, very tall. And I do like that they make him extremely tall. Like, probably not actually realistically tall.
I think it could be, like, in my mind, it's like Andre the Giant, right?
Oh,
like,
okay.
Like he...
And then all these other, like, these Londoners, these
spoiled... They're 5'6" to 6'1", whereas Thorkel's, like, 6'9", 6'10", or maybe 7'1". I don't know.
I mean, all of those heights, I'm just like, hello.
Yeah.
So,
like,
the difference to me.
I love that because it gives this, like, superhuman feel from him, but it still kind of feels real.
Realistic.
Yeah. It's so cool. And my, above all, favorite shot in this episode is, I could 100% be headcanon, but it connected for me, and that's one of the reasons why I love it. And trying to approach Thorkel here, and Thorfinn was trying to figure out where he was most vulnerable. I swear, the only thing I could think of was the shot of Askeladd attacking Thors and choosing to go under the fucking piece of wood instead, and like faster than he could have imagined. Because right when he's going up to Thorkel and he goes in for the kick that's going from that like a very similar direction,
similar like angle and feeling to the diving
he chooses
under.
to go under it. And like in my head canon, just a little bit, it's like, oh, did you like retain this information from Askeladd?
I know that whole setup, like even then attacking like that is what Askeladd attempted to do against Thors.
And like and then you can see like the kill face from Thorfinn when he's about to go through his hand.
It would make complete sense that he would have learned from that interaction of fight style because of the fact that his father was a very commanding presence.
Yeah.
A larger guy than Askeladd was. And Askeladd is the type of fighter who is probably, if he was actually fighting you fair and square, fighting someone like Thor's fair and square, he would be majorly at odds.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like to fight when he is at odds.
I loved it. It connected me to the point later on about names with the son of Thor's and him being like, don't shoot, we're gonna fight again. I would have loved to know what conversation would have been had after that, but because it didn't happen, makes me much more grateful in the long run of things. I'm so excited to go forward, dude.
I also am. And then obviously we gotta say a little bit about Canute.
Yeah.
During the episode, you at the very end there, and I didn't want to like speak on this like
in depth
right when you said something, because if I had gone on like right after you said it, then I wouldn't have been like immersed in what was like happening right after you said that, because right after you said that is when Thorfinn like is coming out of the water and sees Askeladd, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna say that I want to talk about it. And it was that the being worried about the situation that Canute is going to be in, and I really like that they have us, the viewer, in this uncertainty space of great opportunity, super dangerous, not a good opportunity, not good for Canute, or great opportunity for Canute to prove himself, but like we don't know this man. We get these like,
we're told time and time again of reasons that
why
he's inexperienced, he was spoiled, like, but
he possibly won't want to take a life. We get the idea that he was raised with Christian.
There's this air around him, though, that is so heavy and intimidating to me. And it could all be in my head, but it's like, I'm a little scared of him. Like of what he could be capable of. Whether it's on the battlefield, whether it's strategy, whether it's charisma. I like...
How much of Ragnar is just a protective probably actual father-like figure, because he probably feels like he raised Canute to some degree. How much of him is just overly protective, and how much of him is like worried for a reason?
Yeah. I don't know.
Or like, because like we have no clue if Canute like is going to be happy by this opportunity. Is he going to see these 4,000 soldiers he's been given and the London Bridge and be like, my dad really set me up to prove myself, like, thanks, Dad? Or is he going to be like, oh no, I need all of you to go in and fight, and I'm going to be the non-present ruler that, like, we get that line of, like, is the King of England isn't even there?
Mm-hmm.
Is King Swen there?
Yeah. You ever dislocated your shoulder?
I think I've, like, popped something, but you have described an excruciating pain with it that I don't think that I've felt. I think I would, like, heavily remember it.
Towel in my mouth. Just, like, laying on the table, like, palm in shoulder, just putting, like, forcing it back into place. Oh my god. Twice. 2 times. Never had broken ribs and dislocated at the same time, though.
I've had a sprained ankle, for sure.
There you go.
Thorfinn, I can relate.
Yeah. Broken ribs fucking suck. Alright, that's all I have. You good?
Cool.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.